All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of In Between the Chords. I am your host, Rex, and joined me are
Joining you,
joined me.
Danny boy.
Your boy Practical.
And it's me, Brandon, again.
He's back, guys.
Dude, your entrances are the best, dude. Can you just keep coming up with quirky ones every time, please? God damn it.
Change them up. So this week we're going to talk about a new game that just is about to release, actually.
No, it's released already.
Yeah, it's a release already, but we all got early access.
That's why
Yeah, it comes out on the 18th, or came out
so
on the 18th.
I am right. Never mind. I was like, I messed up because I was playing it, but you're right. Early access.
Yep, it comes out tomorrow.
Beautiful. But anyways, so we've all been playing a little bit early, but a new game named Avowed by Obsidian. You guys probably know them from Fallout New Vegas, their most famous game probably, followed by Stick of Truth from South Park, another great game, and they're currently working on the new Outer Worlds game, which I don't know how you guys feel about that, but we'll get to that at another time. So what do you guys feel about this game? Were you guys hyped before this came out?
I really wasn't. I knew very little about this game, but Brandon got me pretty hyped about it. And I usually take his, judgment pretty serious, and so I figured he knew what he was talking about. But no, he in a sense he was right. I have been enjoying playing it. I will say there's some gripes with it, but we can obviously get into that later in the episode. But overall, from the 20 to 25 hours or whatever I put into it, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the exploration. It's pretty top notch to me, at least. Because I'm huge on those games that have that, going and finding treasure and loot and gear and whatnot. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. There are a few things that it could have been better, but it's not, super, detrimental to me not wanting to play it anymore. And I've said that before about other games or other movies or other, music that we've talked about. Like, I'm giving it more of a chance than some people that play like an hour or two and they're like, this game sucks. Like you gotta put some time into it to really get a full understanding of what you're playing. So for the most part, from what I'm playing now, I'm enjoying it.
It's okay. Like I don't hate it. I've found myself coming back to it more than I thought I would. I'm about like 17, 18 hours into it. And I like aspects of it, but we'll get into that, I guess, when we start breaking it down. But I just was expecting more. But yeah, Brandon had posted it, and it looked like something I really would enjoy based on their previous games and shit. And those are some of the aspects of the game I do like, are things that kind of make an appearance that we've seen before from them. But also some of the things we've seen before from them are a detriment to the game too. So that's where I'm at with it, though, so far.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad because I was like I saw some early, like, I always try to like watch some gameplay stuff for video games I'm gonna spend $80 on, so I want to know what I'm getting into. And the gameplay looked pretty good, and I will say that the gameplay is very good. I like the exploration and the combat. I like all that stuff. My main issues are when it comes to being an RPG. The characters are pretty bland. The story's pretty bland. Yeah, it's not doing much for me on like the choice when it comes to that style of RPG either. But all that being said, like, yeah, I mean, I've sunk 15 hours into it because I just want to, see the cool particle effects with the spells and shit, because everything looks beautiful in the game. And
yeah, it's a really good
it really
game.
does look good.
Much like the Outer Worlds, I really liked how the Outer Worlds, a lot of the worlds in it were colorful.
Right.
But a really big thing that I just didn't like from the get-go, and it kind of like poisoned the whole experience, is the godlike aspect, like the mushroom on my face. Like, of all of, I looked it up today. Like, I was like, okay, Pillars of Eternity, godlike. There are multiple different types of
right,
that have different cooler aspects that are on their faces.
Like, what is
rather
it,
than
like different limbs or something? Or
some have horns, some
Right.
just have like glowing little lights under their eyes.
That's kind of what my guy looks like. I went for the most,
They picked the
non-obstructive
fucking
ones.
mushroom. Like, come on, bro. We got the mushroom growing out of my face. In
Hey,
this
Last
one.
of Us was hot, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fungal like vibe of most of the game, like the environments and stuff. But like on my guy, like, did he maybe step into an inn that maybe he shouldn't have? And you know what I'm
He
saying?
should have gone to the apothecary before he left town that one time when he met Hilga at the bar.
And I mean, I know I mentioned it in the last side episode. I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 before I went into Avowed, and like to go from that experience that is so like pure, like it's just pure gameplay bliss when it comes to RPGs and the choice, and then to go to this, and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like the combat's more accessible and fast and fun, but as an RPG, it kind of just fails. I think
I could see
Yep,
that.
I can. Yeah, that's one take, I guess. I myself, I'm not too far in. It's got some cool aspects. I like the idea of the godlikes, but I'm with you on. I don't know why they chose mushrooms, and I feel like they could have implemented it to make you look badass, but they went with this very like fairy tale ish, like not even fantasy, but like a fairy tale like one, and I
Yeah,
didn't care
right.
for it. It made my character just not look like badass, so
I mean-
I deactivated mine, so you can't see it because I couldn't stand looking at it.
maybe in a patch they can add more that don't look so weird and lame, but
Right.
Agreed, but I agree with you. I like the idea of the godlike so far, but yeah, that aspect of it, and I didn't know that about Pillars of Eternity, which I was also going to mention. Has anybody here played them? Because
I've never,
haven't.
no.
I've tried Deadfire.
yeah, I mean, I played the first one a little bit. It's a more character top-down RPG, which I like those kinds of games. Usually they're more rich in story and choice at the sacrifice of the gameplay a little bit, because it is that
Mhm.
top-down strategy-based combat, turn-based combat.
Your Baldur's
know?
Gate 3 vibes, yeah.
Yeah. So this having that I mean, to me, the combat is cool. Like I
It's
thought,
very
I'm,
fun.
I'm having a good time with it. I think it's pretty sweet.
Magic is sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say the magic reminds me a lot of Hogwarts Legacy, but in first person. And a lot of people have been commenting on that, going, "Oh, if you go to the third person, it's literally like the same. It looks almost like the same engine," which is kind of funny. But at the same time, I'm enjoying the magic. Yeah, I was going to ask what kind of builds you guys.
Yeah,
have
what
been
are our
starting
builds?
with.
What's the builds, homies?
Right now, I've been using a pretty good wand. I've upgraded it pretty well, and then I use the book. I know everybody's not keen on the book, but you
grimoire.
get those 4 other spells, and I've been upgrading those, so that's been kind of helpful. And then in my second loadout, I've got this like unique dagger, and it's like on fire, and when I charge it, it's a pretty aggressive attack. And then in my other hand, I have my pistol. So I've been kind of like bum rushing guys and stabbing them a couple of times, and then popping them with the gun, and then going back, because the reloading on that game is pretty atrocious. But again, you're using like pirate guns, like
Yeah, he's got to
you're
pour
not
this
using- yeah.
freaking gunpowder in.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have like an AR-15 or an AK-47 or something like that. So, but yeah, I've been using those two for my first playthrough here so far. What about you boys?
I've just been doing the gun mage as my first thing, and then an archer as my secondary. I got a wand in one hand and a pistol in the other, and I'm having a good time with that. I love jumping around with the mechanic. I play in third person, so I like jumping around with the mechanic of like hitting them with the wand a few times and then shooting them to finish them off. So I'm enjoying that. That's kind of the build I'm doing though. And then for like the choices, I usually go with the most dickish options I can. And
Right? Yeah.
But you can barely even be a dick in that game. That's the
Yeah,
same,
exactly.
That's my problem. Like,
It's not nearly as aggressive as like a Baldur's Gate decision would be.
Right.
what happened to all
They
the
play it too
writers of
safe.
these games? Like, they make them all these games so safe now, like with the choice and like, oh, you can kind of be mean a little bit, I guess, but
Right,
like,
but not enough to where like the game shuts shuts down on you and everybody hates you. You know.
I mean, Fallout New Vegas, you could.
Oh
you
my!
could
Don't even
just
bring
be
that game up. That game is so
you could be
terrible.
a tyrant, you know, like
You put those collars on people, like
yeah,
that game is
crazy.
questionable in all aspects of morality, and that's why it's probably so good. But I agree with you. I don't know what happened because
that was a Fallout thing, though. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
but
just
it's
like
like
all across the
obscenely
board.
more. Yeah, it was obscenely more than Fallout 3, which at the time was our only other real first person aspect of that game. But you know, this company made that. They also made Knights of the Old Republic 2, which isn't the better one. But still
I think it's the best. I like it better than I like both. I'm a hardcore Knights of the Old Republic fan, but I think I've always liked the second one better because I like the Sith Lords in that game. The three different ones are like Darth Nihilus. What up, boy?
I think one thing to remember though that like Obsidian, they're made up of the remaining members of Black Isle Studios, which were the original creators of Fallout 1 and 2. And those games are much darker in content and are more in line with what you see in New Vegas versus what Bethesda did with number 3.
That's what I mean. And then you get something like Avowed, and it's just like scary. You can barely be like really the worst thing you could do to someone is maybe fart in their food.
Yeah, no, it's very
I haven't been able to do that yet. What the hell?
You know what I'm not. I mean, not really, but like you know what I mean.
And I mean, more recently they did Stick of Truth, and I always refer to that game because you spend a portion of that fighting a magical underwear gnome dodging your dad's balls while he's banging your mom.
That's hilarious.
So like, there's that, and now we're at this point where like Brandon said here, you know, you could probably maybe knock their drink off the counter and say sorry, and that's a bad.
Or when you steal from them, they're like, "Oh, just help yourself." And like nothing happens.
Darn.
The point that I'm trying to make is those are building off previously existing IPs that are more vulgar, both Fallout and South Park, than Pillars of Eternity is known for being. So I'm saying I think that's why they're playing it so safe here, because even the Outer Worlds is not overly vulgar. Or, you know, it doesn't.
I mean, you could do some dark stuff in that game.
But
I mean, you can literally cut off the power to a whole city and make them starve them out. You know,
yeah, you kill them all, kill off the whole city just to save like 20 fucking
And I don't necessarily like ever playing evil, you know, characters, but the option is there. It's a role playing game, you know, and like
I think you killed that city.
No,
I'm not gonna say I didn't, but
I sent the jack-booted corporate thug. I put his ass on the street, and then I let everyone else run the city in like a fucking socialist utopia.
Jeez,
yeah, for real.
I definitely starved them out. I felt bad for those people. There was like 5 people who freaking left the city, and I was like, you know what? You guys in your little pig farm out there can have all the power.
So with the game officially launching on the 18th and more players jumping on, do you think there's going to be a more negative backlash than positive, or do you think it's going to be kind of evened out? I mean, we've talked about this probably on previous episodes, but with the whole kind of merging of Xbox and PlayStation 5 having, you know, both titles accessible for both consoles.
I don't think that's going to go one way. I don't know how much PlayStation is going to share their exclusives with Xbox.
That's I understand that.
But they already have started to put some of their games on PC.
But this being an Xbox
they always put their
exclusive,
games on PC, but putting their games on Xbox is another story.
But this game being an Xbox exclusive, you think that eventually, at some point, it's going to be able to be available on PS5?
I do, because right now Xbox is just Microsoft at this point. It even says so as Phil Spencer's job description. He's just the head of the Microsoft gaming department now.
Yeah, because
you know, Xbox is not doing well.
Yeah, I think PlayStation is killing them in the console market, especially in the exclusives. Like, look at the exclusives. Look at the exclusives that Xbox comes out. Well, it's their fault. Starfield, Avowed, like these are the games you're going to put up against God of War Ragnarok, Stellar Blade. Like, come on, give me a break.
Well, Microsoft's plan was to just buy up good studios and hope they always put out gold. And they didn't
they drop Baldur's Gate 3 Xbox?
No,
that wasn't available. That was just a PC game.
Okay. Yeah, that was just Larian Studios. I don't think has a parent company. I think they are the parent to themselves.
Interesting.
They're independent.
Yeah, it's an indie game. Technically,
I know that there'll be some money involved in a deal between the two of them, so I'm sure anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean we'll see it. I mean they've already talked about. I mean Forza's coming. We got that pirate game from them already. We got
Yeah, we're getting all of the PlayStation
Yeah.
fans are getting all their shit, but name one PlayStation game that's gone over there. Like,
I mean-
they don't have. They're not going to get Horizon. No,
That's true.
they're
No.
not going to get God of War.
Spider-Man.
No, they're not getting Last of Us. Like, they're not going to get any of those games on Xbox. I promise you.
you know,
And if
we'll
they
see.
do, I will be like, I'm an idiot.
Well,
I'll eat a big old penis on this camera.
I think it's a bad thing though. I mean,
No, you're not wrong.
I think Xbox doing this is bad. Exclusives are healthy for the market because it breeds competition, which lowers prices for us. Because now, if Xbox say doesn't make another console, which they are,
Mhm.
but say they decide not to, Nintendo doesn't compete with anybody. Nintendo's in its own
It's
lane. So then
niche.
we only have
Disney,
Sony.
yeah.
And other people have tried. Google tried. Amazon tried to build their consoles. They never took off and they're canceled. So then we have PlayStation solo. So now, I mean, it just seems like it'd be a monopoly, kind of like Walmart. There's not really a competition for Walmart, but everybody hates it, but they still go to it. So PlayStation could become that. And I think it's bad to do these exclusives type kind of thing. It takes away, but that's just my opinion, but off topic, but I do hope it does come to PlayStation.
No, I mean it is on topic because
Personally.
Avowed is an Xbox exclusive, and this is the competition they're putting up against the PlayStation exclusives, which I think each console having its own games is great. Like it gives you like it makes people buy your console. Like, you know, I want to play Avowed or Starfield. That's why I have a PC, and thankfully Microsoft is a computer company, and all of their Xbox games are basically PC games.
I do
You
enjoy
know,
my
awesome.
Xbox, even though I'm a PlayStation guy.
And you know, when it comes to the PlayStation exclusives, you have to wait a year before any of those ever hit PC, unless you're Bloodborne and you're just like not gonna go anywhere. So
bringing it back to actually Avowed, how do you guys feel about the comparisons to Skyrim? Like, do you guys feel a
I
kind
didn't
of
play Skyrim enough, but the vibes I am getting are
What?
Fallout. Yes, sorry, deal with it. Oh, look, you're finally awake. I know.
Oh my lord.
But I was getting more Fallout-y vibes, but more. I don't know if you ever played High on Life. You know, it was a fun game.
Yeah, that game.
But it gave me that vibe as far as like
colors,
the colors and stuff like that. But it reminded me more of Fallout than anything. But again, I didn't play enough Skyrim to really compare that. So
yeah, it's just a more colorful Skyrim. I think the comparisons are fair because Obsidian still uses the same style of engine that Bethesda uses. Like Outer Worlds is Fallout vibes, you know? Like it is what it is because their games are so similar.
I don't agree with the comparison at all. I don't think that the Avowed is anything like Skyrim, really, other than a fantasy setting. Skyrim is much deeper. It has, way more interesting story points. It has more detail to its universe. Things feel more alive. I like the map way more in Skyrim. I think it's probably an unhealthy comparison. Skyrim is a pretty legendary game, and I think it'll really only hurt Avowed to compare it to that because and that's why Obsidian themselves walked back that comment, because they were like, it's not really like that. And while it does use a similar approach in its game engine, I don't think, to me, if it was feeling more like a Bethesda title, I'd be fucking all up in its ass right now. But it's got me coming back here and there, but it isn't like those, because those games I bought, to go back to what you guys were saying, I fucking bought an Xbox just to play Starfield. So I mean,
same.
Yep, I bought one to play it.
So, I wouldn't buy a console to play Avowed. I'll tell you that right now.
Agreed, yeah. And like I said, I'm glad that I got the version with the Game Pass.
You'd be looking
I got
at
the
your
version with the
30-day
Game Pass
return.
where I only had to pay $20 or something like that to play early. I'm glad I did that, because at least I gave to the game. I don't feel like I just waited for it on Game Pass and then, can hate it easier. But, yeah.
Well, let's start breaking the game down, by its points. Like, graphic wise, how do you guys think it feels?
It looks good. I really haven't had any bug issues with it, but the environment is beautiful. Like we've been saying, a lot of colors. The thing I don't like about a lot of the levels, pretty much every level, is there's no respawning enemies. So it's like once you kill them, like that area is just open.
Yeah.
So then you go back later if you're going to go look for treasure or whatever, and you're like, where the hell is everybody? It's like, oh, I killed them all already. So maybe that'll be fixed in a patch where they can, have that, because that's only going to help you get XP faster, And I'm only in the second map portion of the game, but that first area was pretty big, but I found everything. And so I'm a big time completionist when it comes to games like that. So I usually don't like leaving the area until I've got it all done. Unless you physically can't because you have to go end game. But
Mhm.
I feel like I'm killing a lot of lizard dudes.
oh, for sure, dude. You wait till you get to the second area, dude, fighting a bunch of toads.
For sure.
Mushroom head guys.
I'm wiping out a species right now.
I
How many of them
think
I killed?
graphically it's pretty impressive. I do think it's pretty sharp in its colors, and I do think the
You're
world
pretty
they've
sharp.
created. Thank you very much. I think the world is it pops, and it encourages you to go explore places because of that, and I like that about the game because exploration is important to me. So the graphics being as good as they are, is a high point for the title, I think.
Did you ever play Dying Light or Dying Light 2?
I played them. I didn't get super into it.
It reminds me a lot of that game too.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of good exploring in that game. I really like the second one. The first one is iconic, obviously, but the second one is giving me a little bit of Avowed vibes. Like they might have taken some things as far as the exploration is concerned, but some of the places you really got to look for it. I mean, I remember when I was talking to Brandon when he was playing it. I'm telling him about all these items I'm picking up. He's like, "Where are you finding these? Like, I can't find these caves." And I'm like, "Dude, waterfalls, bro.
I'm terrible.
Every waterfall you see, go try to go behind it, because I found numerous items behind waterfalls in the game."
I know you're a big admirer of the graphics, Rex. So how do you feel about them?
I think they look great. A lot of people I've read have got some problems with the character models, kind of mirroring Dragon Age Vanguard.
Vanguard, yeah,
whatever.
I'm getting that vibe.
I don't know. Yeah, Veilguard. I don't know. The game was okay, but
Yeah.
probably just I don't.
It's
know.
again,
The game.
the story is meh, but the combat and the gameplay is cool. You know,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks good. I haven't played it on console. I'm playing it on kind of my old PC kind of. So it looks about as good as it can be. And right now, it does look great. The global illumination of it, I really like. It's really dark in caves and stuff, but you can still see, if that makes sense in the dark.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I really like the game. It also is super awesome that it on the computer it kind of adjusts the settings. It reads what your system can handle and adjusts it for you. So I was running 60 easy, and it looked great. I really like how they did the game, but it looks great.
I love jumping off of a high point into water, and the transition into water is so smooth, and then everything underwater
Yes.
looks so sick, and then yeah, it's cool.
I wish I could hold my breath longer.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I can
yeah.
hold my breath pretty long. You guys must not be strength guys because you're little weenie wizards.
Dude,
Fuck
get
you.
out of
I don't
here,
got much
man.
strength. I don't
Dude,
got much strength.
I hold a sword and a shield, and I can still cast your little dumb fire spells because I'm a spellblade.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull my book out and
you're so
I think I picked
fast.
the
Teach you a lesson.
like I'm all important and stuff, and I use like the royalty poll. Like, oh, dude, I know important people, but when you do that, you don't have like good talking skills with like poor people.
Oh, I'm a war hero, bro. That's the one I picked.
Nice. I like that.
Gameplay. Then let's talk gameplay then, because that's an aspect that I think is also not bad. I think the combat is fun. I'm having fun with the combat anyway. I mean, when I get into a fight, the only thing I'd say about it that I have a complaint with is the boss fights. It's really like formulaic. It's like I'll run in there.
Right.
It's not super difficult.
Not very tough, no.
The gear system in the level gating is a little restrictive.
Yeah, I don't really like the upgrading. It seems. I mean,
Everything seems kind of basic to me.
right.
It is.
You're
Oh,
still
It is.
finding
It's
a lot of
literally
items.
common sword is what you
Yeah,
find.
it's I don't know. The whole thing seems kind of basic. Even the combat right now. Again, I'm only about 12 hours in, but it still seems kind of very basic. Like Danny said, kind of Hogwarts Legacy. Like once you figure out the couple spells, you're good to go through the whole game.
Right. You really
There's
are.
not much evolution in anything right now, but I'm hoping it gets better later on. But yeah, so far
It definitely
it's pretty
does. You gotta progress through that first area, and
good.
once you start, leveling up and getting skills and stuff to amp up your guy, it gets better. But I will agree that until you find some of the treasure maps to find some of the, unique gear that's a lot better, that has, certain perks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. You're constantly finding just like normal crap. And I hate using lockpicks on certain chests, and then the inside is not anything good. It would be like a normal one. It was like,
That's
oh,
a
cool.
Tales all the
So I
time
used
right there.
dude, that's
You got it.
RPGs.
You got it.
That's RPGs.
Yeah. That's the worst. I hate that.
I mean, I found a pretty sweet flaming sword. It's a unique item. I like all my gear is unique. I found every piece of, and we're not even out of the first map yet. So I feel like
Well,
in
aren't
that
you
regard,
just a goody two shoes?
I was able to find some cool stuff.
Don't catch me in the yard. I'll hit you with my little book and wand.
Like bounce off my guy's chest because he's so badass.
I do think the exploration's pretty fun too, because there are several times, like I put in the Discord, like there are several times where I'm like, oh, how can I get up there? How can I get down there? There's got to be a way.
There's always a way. If you can see it, you can get there.
Yeah, and I like that type of shit because that's what kind of keeps me locked in. I want to find sweet gear, and I do think the exploration is pretty rewarding for the most part. I mean, every once in a while, yeah, you'll find some like common dagger, and you're like, motherfucker, I already have a flaming sword. I don't fucking need this shit. But like, beyond that, yeah, I think the combat being a big focus and being cool. To those points, it does remind me a little bit of Harry Potter because of the way you move. But I do I like the way it's set up. So those two things are strong points for me for sure.
I mean, like I said, I got to get through it more, but I mean, some games, the beginning is the end for the combat depth, and I'm worried that this game, the depth we've already hit the bottom of the well. The only thing that'll get better is your gear, obviously, and like you might get a better spell later on, but there's like, is there like mixes of like using your gun and your magic at the same time causes like some kind of extra thing to happen? Like the intricacies of other battle systems, like is it existent in this one? And it's a fantasy and an RPG, so I would hope it is. Like Final Fantasy Rebirth, that game, the battle system, especially if you play on hard, you've got to play to all the strengths and the weaknesses to all your guys and your enemies, or else you will get obliterated. Even if you don't like the mini games, the actual combat like of that game has a lot of intricacies to it, and you know, it makes it more fun. It makes it even more fun to play. Where this one, I'm worried. Like I said, we've tapped this well. It's done. Like shit just gets better, but no deeper.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's a little bit of variation with like water and stuff. Like you can freeze some of the water,
islands,
or electrify some of the water in combat. But like, it's not super as in depth as like you're talking. It is pretty surface level.
Which again, I mean, it's still. I said I'm having fun, and the book, the grimoire, all that. It is fun, but
everyone likes junk food, man.
You know, it's just kind of monotonous fun.
Yeah, but my thing though is like, we shouldn't be so accepting of mediocrity, you know, and just being
definitely not. Absolutely,
there really should be like bigger pushes to make these games great, and I think talking into the story, which we're about to talk about anyway, it's whenever anything is set in that fantasy or like medieval type setting, I feel like that's enough for some people. You know, they're like, oh, I can be a wizard, I can do all this shit, whatever, I can be a knight, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but how many fucking countless titles do we already have like that? Like, what's unique about this? What makes it stand out? And we talked about the godlike thing in the beginning of the episode, and I think that's why they added the feature of you can just turn it off. I have it turned off. Like,
whoever
I have no
thought
fungus,
of that
whatever.
Needs a high five.
Yeah, and it's like, but why though? Like, if you know that it's going to be that controversial, why are you putting a fucking feature in the game to get rid of it? You know, because it's like that to me says you don't have very much faith in that choice yourself as a developer. And that's kind of weird.
Your guns.
You know, yeah, especially from a story aspect. Which, let's just talk about it. I'm bored with it. Like, the only thing that's keeping me going is the exploration, because everything is like cardboard characters with no personality, and like, I see people online raving about like Garrick, that little blue dude. Fuck that guy. That guy was nothing. He said like 3 lines and then you never saw him again, really, other than like periodically. And you know, I don't know. People are like flipping their lids over such basic shit to me, and I'm so confused by that shit, because I personally find it boring and think it's going to be a real struggle to finish it, even 20 hours in, based on those things. But fuck, I mean, I assume you guys feel similar ways. I know we've already talked about it a little bit.
The dialogue is pretty bad. There's really no character building. that I'm getting quite yet. I mean, you can try to get to know your companions once you get multiple. I mean, you start out with Kai, and then I've gotten far enough to where you get this smaller guy. I can't remember his name. It starts with an M.
Marius. I got
Yeah.
Marius. Yeah.
And then I've now met a third person, but they're not my companion yet because I helped her get some relic or whatever. But I'm sure I'm going to run into her again, and I think she's going to come join my team. But yeah, you can get to know them at the campfire, but like you try to get to know that Marius guy, and like he's kind of a douche. Like he doesn't open up to you, and it's like, dude, I need to like know that you've got my back. Like let's be open with each other. Let's talk about it. Like I could tell you that I'm talking to a voice right now, which don't even get me started on the voice, dude. The worst thing about that game, I absolutely hate those cutscenes.
I hate
so
going to sleep.
Stupid. Yeah,
Going
every
to
time you go to
sleep
sleep, it's like,
sucks.
dude, leave me alone. And I've answered that way a couple of times where I'm like, hey, could you not disturb me when I'm sleeping? Thank you.
Yeah, you answer a question and then it just repeats what you said, just in a more mystical way. You're like, I
Right.
don't like you, and it says the seed has
So
sown of
stupid.
hate.
Well, what's funny about that is they're totally ripping something off from Baldur's Gate 3, and,
Yeah,
and they're doing it so shittily because it is done awesome in Baldur's Gate 3. Like this little influence that you get in that game that you have to interact with. It's a huge part of the story, and like there's so many revelations that come from that. And then I see it in this game. I know exactly what you guys are trying to do, and you guys are not doing it very well at all. Like this voice sucks.
Yeah, the voice sucks for sure. It also sucks, like back to the combat thing. Also, like, how does games like Dragon's Dogma 2? That game has sweet combat, a sweeter story, way better. I don't know what Avowed did wrong. I like Obsidian obviously had the chops to make some really good games and story-based games, especially when you do deep lore games like fantasy RPGs that already have established lore. Like obviously I didn't know until you mentioned it, Prack, in the chat that this was a Pillars of Eternity, like based in the worlds. I've heard of the
Mhm.
games, but I have no idea about the lore. So yeah, I don't know. It's
Well, and I heard somewhere, and I don't know how true it is, that this game was actually meant to be like a multiplayer game, and was abandoned at like the last minute, and that's kind of why the cities feel so shitty, because a bunch of people are supposed to be running around in the streets.
Yeah.
That's why
crazy.
that's why all the NPCs are like hugging walls and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
And that's another reason that like I can't let it be compared to Skyrim, dude. Like
the cities are
Skyrim's-
horrible in that game.
Yeah.
Avowed.
Yeah, exactly. They're just so bland, and like I don't feel like I've made it. Like you're supposed to be feeling the reward of getting to the new zone, and I get there and I'm like, well, where the fuck's the party at, dude? Like there's nobody here. Who am I getting to know? What is this fucking world trying to tell me when there's nothing to learn from it? You know, I don't know.
Also, their characters do just seem robotic.
Right.
Like talking to them, like I like that one side quest with that one god, that godlike, and it was cool that it was way cooler than the main story because he like
Mhm.
talked about older times, about how they were more revered and all this stuff, and I was like, see, why can't the main story be this cool? Like, I don't know. That's just how I thought about it, but also just all the characters just seem really stiff still. Like we're in 2025. And I feel like they're still just super stiff. None, like they got motion capture, they got all that stuff, and they still are making stiff,
Yeah.
lifeless characters, especially
like,
with like,
Oh,
yeah, it's like in their mouths they try to give them like moving features on their face, but it's still so stiff.
yeah.
But you know they got
Go
mocap
down to the
stuff.
river.
Yeah, it just kind of
No,
takes you out of the fantasy of it. It's like, what the fuck am I looking at right now?
Marius's lips never sync up with what
Oh,
he's
they're
saying.
horrible.
He's the worst. It's the worst.
I haven't met him yet, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait, but I don't know. It's just I don't know what to say. How do you get bought up by a corporation with pockets deeper than anybody else almost, but you still can't fork out a product that's
Yeah.
at least stars in one aspect, whether it be, you know, the graphics, the story, or something, but this is all middle of the road.
Yeah.
Everything.
There's been a few games that I've played that have been like that. A prime example, and I think you guys know when Herbie played this game, but Forspoken. Like,
Yeah.
I was really enjoying that game. The gameplay was sweet. The story was good up until a point, and then it got to a point at the end where I was like, "What? Like, it was not the outcome I wanted. It was not the story that I thought it was building up to be. And so for this game, like, I'm still curious where it's going. You know, like, it's giving me Starfield vibes in the sense where it's like, oh, am I like some supreme being that's going to fight these other supreme beings or something like that? But yeah, I'm confused what's happening, what the end game is, you know. And again, I'm only in like the second town area, but still, like, when is this going to open up? I love the exploring, don't get me wrong, but I need the story to get a little bit more butter on it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not an open world game either. It's got that restrictive zone thing that Outer
It's like
Worlds
the
did
zones,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of good because, you know, open worlds get played to death, and I think
I like the zone thing. I
Yeah.
think it's cool. Like, you got a big old zone to explore.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes it feel a little bit more manageable. Sometimes the open worlds can be too much, and you're just like, I don't really want to go to every goddamn area of this map.
Oh man. That's how
Well,
I
my
feel.
personal opinion is just basically that, you know, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to see it through, but I wouldn't rate it very high if I was to rate it. I'm not going to, because that's not fair, but based on the things I've seen already, I'm not.
It'll be on the
for
Steam
it.
summer sale. Wait till then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the game, even on all its ratings, are just kind of middle of the road. Some give it a little higher, some lower, but I'd agree with them so far. Like I said earlier, it's just a middle of the road game, maybe with patches and stuff. And I didn't know about the multiplayer aspect of it, so hopefully they'll patch that to fix that. Maybe make the world feel a little more alive, the characters. But as of right now, as it stands, yeah, I will see it through, but I can't promise it'll be in the next 6 months. I will forget about it for a
especially
while.
with other stuff coming out. I get that.
I'll
That's
forget
gonna
it
be
for
the
a while,
biggest thing,
and then I'll jump
yeah.
back to it and get a kick and beat it. But like as of right now, I'm already fading. Like I put 12 hours in, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna go back to playing Ghostwire. Yeah. Sorry.
If you guys want a good laugh, check out the Avowed subreddit already. You'll see people.
I follow it. It's great.
They're absolutely fucking head over dick for it already, and it's like, dude, get real. Like, you're just blowing such smoke up this game. Like, people giving it perfect 10s, and like, you know, it's like, come on now, you're just not even being real. Either that or you don't play enough video games.
At the get go, when you made me put a mushroom on my face, I knew you weren't a 10.
Yeah, that was a given.
Still upset
sign.
about the Goomba.
How do you have 30 faces and not one of them is sick? Every single
Really?
one. I was
Yeah,
going through every
presets.
one.
I'm like, no,
and
man.
I was like, there's got to be one here that's sick, and not one of them. So, yep, click the option. Don't put it on. Suck it.
Yeah, but then everyone in the world still acts like you have it on your face, though.
Yeah, which is stupid.
I'm okay with that as long as I can't see it, because I cannot stand looking at any of them, dude.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can fix
look
that.
Cool. Like,
No.
why couldn't they have made it look like
That's
you're
what I'm
talking
saying.
about with the horns or whatever? Like, they could have done something
Who
cool with it.
designed
What
those?
the fuck is that?
Yeah, there's
Who
like
just-
I was looking up the godlikes on like there's the
Reprimand them.
Pillars of Eternity wiki or whatever, and yeah, there's nightmare godlikes, there's fire godlikes, lightning godlikes, nature godlikes, like
You guys
Who
ever
gives you
seen?
fungus?
yeah,
Yeah.
they gave us fungus,
You guys ever seen those
fungus
Hobbit
among
movies?
us.
You guys ever watch those
Hell
Hobbit
yeah.
movies? It's like when Gandalf has his little dumb other magician guy come, and he's all on mushrooms. And he's all kind of
Radagast.
Radagast. That's
That
like
guy's
this
the
game.
hope. No, don't you
Dude,
ever
I
say a
don't care.
bad
That guy's
word
like-
about
that guy's
Radagast,
like-
dude.
Gandalf, and he smokes his pipe. He's like, "What was I doing?"
Dude, that
And, yeah,
homie's
dude.
hitting the chronic. He should listen to the last Dr. Dre episode.
Dude,
Hell yeah.
that's just how I feel. That is like there was a badass option, which is like Gandalf, but they're like, dude, Radagast though. What if we like made that the whole
Radagast?
yes.
What kind of
Yeah, he's got
weird-
like a mushroom growing off his
Yeah, on
face,
his face
and
and
shit.
stuff. That's what I was thinking of, and
That's
so,
the homie. Yeah?
I don't know. They made 30 of them, and all of them were terrible. And you know that stuff goes through like quality control. It goes through like
I don't
people
think that
vetting
did.
it. Yeah, that must have just slipped through it, and they're like, "Yeah, that's mushrooms. It's cool."
I don't like it, so just in case, put in a little option to take it out. Because
Yeah,
people are going to.
Can we add an option? They probably didn't even tell the person who created that stuff.
Well, what
Like,
about
there's
you?
one
What
like
do you-
literally you have branches growing out of your head. What the hell?
I almost picked
Fucking
that one.
lame.
Idea could have been cool. Execution terrible.
What
Terrible.
about you, Danny? Are you gonna see it through? You gonna finish
Oh,
it
of
up?
course I will. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to. I keep starting these new games, and I have to just like literally commit to one and at least finish it. And I feel like I'm pretty far enough in that one where I can finish it.
It's a good in between game till the next real like. Oh, I'm gonna put like hours of my life into this game.
Yeah, it's Assassin's
Oh,
Creed
yeah.
for me. So
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Assassin's
same.
Creed.
Yeah.
That's gonna soak up my life.
But I'm definitely gonna see it through for sure.
Hey,
Hell
is this
yeah.
an Assassin's Creed podcast?
I've never even played that game.
Game sucks.
What about you, Bont? You think you're gonna finish it, or are you just gonna go back to the other one that's getting your attention?
No,
more?
I'm gonna go back and play Kingdom Come Deliverance too.
Sounds about
Right.
right.
See, they just got free money from you that way, dude. That's fucked up. But I
Hey,
do it all the time.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you can't avoid
all
it.
the time they show you stuff and it looks way cooler than it is, and then you get it and you're like, "Fuck."
What have I done? Well,
I'm
Let
just gonna
down.
go back and play this other game now.
that's why the Game Pass really is a good idea because like Danny just paid $20 to get early access to it plus his membership, and he doesn't have to finish it if he doesn't want to. I paid fucking $90 for that motherfucker, bastards.
Sorry.
They got me good,
Got you good,
Yeah,
brother.
but I've been got before, so I can't even be mad. Don't be mad at me.
Starfield got me.
Got me.
I didn't even pay for that game, but I played it on
Oh, I
Game Pass, and
definitely
it got
did, so I
me.
could play it early.
It got me.
Yep.
I enjoy that, even though it suffers from a lot of the same things that we're actually saying about this game.
That is what I was
Right.
gonna say. Is it kind of like mirrors Starfield? And
So,
the
what
lack
other
of-
exclusives does Xbox have coming up?
Oh, man, fuck, I don't
Off
even
the top of my head,
War.
Fable.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
the
finally?
New Gears, the
Elder Scrolls 6, if ever.
what's
No.
that other one they're doing now? I can't remember. They got
There's
quite a
another
bit.
But they
one
do
I'm
have
thinking
some
of.
more.
They do
coming
have a
up
couple more. Yeah.
that'll
for sure.
eventually be on PlayStation.
Mhm.
Probably. Yep.
Yep.
The
High on
problem
Life
is
did.
they cancel. I swear, Microsoft cancels more games than they put out from their own in-house studios. Like they had one from Platinum Games that did Near Automata. It was a game where like you have a dragon as your buddy, and it's a full-size dragon. You can fly it, hop on it, you jump into battles with it the whole time,
Mm.
and it looks
Saw
so
that, yeah.
sick. And it was coming out for days, but then Microsoft was like, it missed a couple benchmarks that we wanted, so we canceled it.
Well,
Never
what was
mind.
the vampire one that just came out and then got like ripped off the shelves real super quick?
Oh, yeah. What was that game called?
It was like a battle royale. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Bloodlust or something?
They just, I
Something
don't
like
know,
that.
but
I don't know.
they're just, oh no, it's that one that
I wanted to
Arcane
say-
did it. It was
yeah.
Arcane did Red Dawn or Red.
I want to say Redbox, but that's not.
it's Redfall. Redfall.
There
Oh,
it is,
yeah.
Redfall.
Yeah, no, that game. The studio they had do it did Prey and did the Dishonored series, and they
Yeah.
said
Right.
that they didn't want to do it. Everybody at the studio hated the game, but they were forced to do it. And they said when Microsoft
Interesting.
bought them, they all prayed that it would cancel it. They said they prayed that when it got bought, the first thing they would do was cancel the game.
Look, I'm not sorry that I don't know any of these future releases because I'm a fucking PlayStation guy anyway. So
For sure.
like at the end of the day, I bought the console because they did that to me with Bethesda.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
only fucking reason. So if I'm
They
being
suckered
honest,
everybody with
Bastards.
that one.
Mhm.
that's why you get a dank PC and then you have a PlayStation. You're good to go.
I mean, I've got that now too.
I need
but-
to upgrade my
Alright.
PC, but it's pretty
Lover
sweet.
boy.
All right, well, I think that's really all that can be said about the game so far. None of us have finished it, obviously. These are just early thoughts, and the game releases tomorrow, so we thought we would jump on and give you a little preview, I
Little
guess.
taste.
Yeah.
With that said, hopefully the day one patch will hopefully fix a lot of these issues we're having right now.
Right. Yeah,
As
I'm
far
sure
as-
they've got a lot of feedback.
You know, because
already.
we're playing the early version of it.
I'll start the game over from scratch and make a new character if they give me cooler facial options for the
Yeah.
fungus. Like, give me
Yeah.
a little like mushroom horns. I don't even care if they have like come out like this and then have like little umbrellas.
That'd be sick, dude.
Dude, yeah.
Maybe they should
Almost
have
like a little visor.
Hell yeah. Yeah, hopefully the day one patch will make it worth finishing or make it more interesting. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe we'll see, but
Shouldn't have to wait for that type of shit for a game, but whatever. We'll see.
No,
I mean, at least it
Everything's
worked
early
when it came out.
access.
Hey, at least
Yeah,
it
at
worked.
least-
True.
I ran
True.
into only one glitch, and I just restarted the game. And it was gone. So
That's
Yeah.
saying a
at
lot
least
these
that- yeah,
days, man.
That's for that. That's gold right there. That's gold.
Solid gold.
That's spray painted shit gold right there. That's hell yeah.
Spray painted shit gold. All right, that's
Yikes.
the perfect way to end this episode. This has been Between the Chords, Avowed.
Avowed.
This is your boy Practical.
Need more.
Rex.
Hey, you guys have a good night, okay? This is Brandon.
At least the porn thing didn't get brought up again.
Yeah,
It'll
that's
get brought
true.
up at the end of every goddamn episode.
God.
Unless you're into avowed fungus porn, maybe.
Oh, that's. I mean, you got to get over your octopus porn first.
Good God.
That sounds infectious.
Tentacle porn? No,
yeah,
thanks.
tentacle
No more
porn.
puns.
No, thank you.
Good God.
All right, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Take care.